Yeah, and it made me start thinking about what my mentor said about bad things don't happen to you. Either things show up that are, if you want to believe in the universe or woo woo,
Right.
saying not yet, or I have something better for you. And I think that's a really unique way to look at relationships and communities because right now, like even my dance community, I don't really feel connected to them, and that could be kind of heartbreaking. But I also feel like with the way that my research trajectory is going, I am probably going to wind up in DC. And I wonder if this is just kind of being pushed in a direction that I was meant to go in. And it's way more freeing and far less heartbreaking than why does this always happen to me? Yeah, those are just some thoughts, and it's really hard to think in that mindset when it like when something hurts, you know. Um, so I don't know if you guys have experienced anything like that where you had the choice to tap into old scripts about how you don't get the thing or this always happens to you or you don't, you know, whatever it might be.
Yeah, those are hard to, it's a hard loop to get out of, like, and there's even this moment where you go like, okay, if I take a step back, I intellectually understand, I can parse this. And then it's like, but it's happening to me. It's emotionally happening to me right now, and that's real. And yeah, no, I think it's a good, the reframing is important, but also just like, I think it's good to recognize when you're in old scripts, but it's also just like, I'm in this old script. I don't need to beat myself up over it. I'm trying to
Yeah.
make, I don't want it to damage me, but also, okay, yeah, this sucks. Like you get, like the thing is, something better can be coming. It could be not yet. It could be something better is coming. But you can also still say like, and right now this is awful. Like right,
Yeah, yeah. You don't want to invalidate your
yeah,
own feelings by being like, "Oh, woo woo," and the universe brings all the gifts and um but yeah, I think it'll be good to continue with the heart chakra this week. And I
yeah,
love your glasses, by the way. Every week you show up with something that's new. I like
yeah. These are
it.
my temps, my blue light filter glasses, and I don't know if they actually do anything, but I feel like, at least I don't have to wear eye makeup when teaching. That's the other.
Right?
Yeah, that it's I do think it's helping me relax my eyes though. So I don't, it might be psychosomatic, but I'm fine with it.
No, I'm gonna get some too. I finally got glasses for the first time in like 4 years because I finally got paid, and yeah, like eye care is really important. I also wanted to experiment with uh an eyelash perm, which aren't
Oh,
extensions because I think that those can look kind of weird. But
right,
my eyelashes are like kind of long and straight, and they go like angled down.
right,
So having that would just look like I'm all about less effort. You know,
right,
you have on no makeup, but if I had on no makeup and my eyes looked more open and
right.
like slightly less
Oh
puffy.
yeah, because the really thing of like, they're like, oh, women wear makeup. It's like, yeah, don't tell me I'm tired then, and I'll be fine. Like,
Right. When I was in grad school and I wasn't taking care of myself because that's the nature of grad school, when I didn't wear makeup, people used to be like, "Are you sick? Are you, you know?" Well, I'm like, "That's just my
one
face."
time I got like a good, I had a restful weekend.
Mhm.
Someone was just like, oh my gosh, are you wearing makeup? I was like, no, I just slept. They're like, oh, and they're like, you should probably do that more often. And it's but yeah, the scripts so like, would this be, so there's an eyelash curler, but this would be more of a permanent, semi-permanent.
Yeah, semi-permanent. I think they use some heat and possibly a chemical. Um,
Yeah,
and then it keeps it, you know, so you don't have to wear that. I'm not about the false eyelashes because like it's kind of like fake nails. Like it looks really good, but it's a lot to keep up.
right. And I tried, the a friend and I both went through a last, okay, actually I guess three of us went through a last extension phase,
Uh-huh.
because someone was doing them well and everything, but the upkeep, being told that, like, she's like, you just need to stop sweating. And I was like, well, that's not happening. You know, like these
Stop
lasting,
sweating.
because these are only asking like 3-4 weeks with you. And I was like, I don't think they're gonna last. I mean, you know, things are gonna happen. But the thing is, so when COVID happened, we were all like, well, we're not gonna get our lashes done because we don't want someone touching our eye. And also, of
Yeah.
course, what we were going to was upping her business, because she worked out of her home, so she could actually bring in more people, and people were coming in from Jersey. She was taking new clients, and we were just like, oh no, like we're definitely not going there. And so as the extensions came out, and like there's like, we all had like one straggler that just wasn't going to go anywhere, just sitting there longer than everything else. But after we went out, our eyelashes were so much shorter. We're like, shoot, we damaged our eyelashes. So we wait. So now that like time has passed, we're like, our eyelashes are back, and we're like, oh, let's not do that again. Let's like,
Yeah, that's my fear. Like, yeah. Like, you know, like if I, as soon as I get it, sorry, Eric, we're talking about all this stuff. We'll change it in a second. Uh, as soon as I get it, I feel like I'm gonna look in the
You
mirror
can
and like,
continue
oh
as
my.
long as you want. I'm listening.
Okay. I feel like as soon as I get it, I'm gonna look in the mirror and like, oh my God, what have I done?
but like, I think a perm, like, 'cause it's just yours, and it's just sort of like, it sounds like it's like something that would last longer than putting a curler on every day and just, you know, having them change directions. Yeah. Yeah, but it's but yeah.
So going into the heart chakra tapping and meditation, I would like us to explore thinking about doing away with ideas that were like, if I were only this, then this would happen to me.
Right.
If I were only this, I would get this thing. If I only had this degree, I would get this. If I only had this, you know, and just trying to shift to the self-compassion of like, you are inherently valuable, your work is important. Mm-hmm. You don't need to be a certain thing to do the work you're already doing because you're already doing it, right? So let me pull this music up. We'll do the emerald, kick it up a notch with the binaural beats for the heart chakra as we tap through that. And then we'll get into our meditation. I love these self-care chats. I just think it's so great to have that consistent like time to check in and process and talk through things and like being okay with not being okay. And the other YouTube. Okay, let me just look. Heart. Okay, so we could tap through victim, martyr, doormat, rejected. Which one of those four sounds the best?
I'm thinking like not doormat, because we
Been
really
working on that one.
We've done that one a bit. Eric, do you have any preferences?
Victim, martyr, doormat, and rejected. And was there another one? Or was it
there is a fifth heart chakra. Give me 2 seconds. I got my woo-woo book. Okay, so heart chakra. Solar. Okay. people pleaser is similar to doormat, so that's not as in-depth as I was looking for. Let's see. So I guess it would differentiate between victim and martyr. Like, martyr is relating to people through sacrifice, and it's kind of coercive. Victim is like a discrepancy between what you want and what's happening to you, and it's like happening to you. You have no control over it. You're just kind of relinquishing control by saying, you know, like, this always happens to me, or something of that nature. Let's do victim.
Okay.
That's what I would prefer too.
Yeah. Well, that sounds. Okay, I'm gonna say that sounds good, even though that sounds weird to say. Like, yeah, victim.
Right. No, that's how like the shift in thinking is really interesting. Like when something bad happens, or something bad, you're like, well, what can I learn about this? Like, what is this here to teach me? If you really get into it, but sometimes it's just like, fuck. Okay. Where is it? Okay. No, let's do this one. There we go. Okay, so we'll say the setup statement 3 times. And feel free to mute yourself so the audio doesn't get wonky. Okay. Even though I'm a victim, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I'm a victim, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I'm a victim, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Now we'll tap through the quality. I'm a victim. 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 And now we'll tap through and kind of riff on that idea. If anything comes up for you, feel free to unmute yourselves and say anything that comes up. Why does everything happen to me? It doesn't feel good to be a victim. It feels like I'm powerless to control or change or adapt to anything that is happening to me. It makes me feel passive to be a victim. I don't like feeling like a thing being acted upon. I don't want to relinquish control to others. because I refuse to accept responsibility for what's in my control. If there are opportunities I don't take, that doesn't make me a victim. That's a choice I made. Anything else coming up for you guys?
Really, there's that sense of the world happens to me. I don't act. I'm acted upon. Why do these things always happen to me? Why can't I do?
Samantha, you are muted. For me, yeah, I guess it's a sort of like a thought of like, well, I know that the things that happened to me have been things where like culpability was complicated, and I also contributed to it.
Right.
But that's also mixed in with feelings of the sort of resentment, especially resentment of like people who are more well integrated and people who are more well liked and have more supportive communities around them, more social capital. I guess there's feelings that, yeah, sometimes I can do things that accidentally injure or anger other people. But when I do those things, I end up feeling disproportionately high consequences.
Right.
Oh.
And other more socially popular people do other hurtful things. No one holds them accountable, and I can't hold them accountable.
Right.
Feeling kind of like a kind of powerless and like a victim in that way. That trying to navigate things fairly and be mature and growth oriented, and other people feeling hurt and their feelings determining my social fate.
Oh, yeah, that's rough. I mean, I think we all want the world to be a certain way, and we want people to be more ethical, and we are moral in some ways and not in others. And I think that the more we demand that others be the thing, the less inclined they are to actually change. And the more it can solidify like your own feelings of victimhood, and also leave them further entrenched in the uncivil or unjust thing as kind of an FU. And that's hard, because when the world is the way it is and you feel powerless to affect any sort of change, this is like the biggest reason why I created Glitterpill, essentially, because if you can't control external situations, despite the best that you're trying, because we're only one person at the end of the day, right? Instead of feeling like a victim, why not try personal transformation? Because that's something entirely within your control. Terrible things are happening, will continue to happen after the election. But if you are resourced and balanced in yourself, and you truly know yourself and can relate to others on a more empathetic, human, and real level, you can change communities by virtue of being someone who's healed and integrated. You don't need, rather than look at people who have more social capital or are more, have more of whatever you think it is that you want, you could say, what are they doing that I'm not doing? How are they showing up for themselves in a way that I'm not? Am I willing to put in the work to make that happen for me? And if I'm not, am I willing to let go of that idea of myself that I was this, or I should have this? Because I think that entitlement and victimhood are very intertwined. And and there's something really, as my mentor calls it, sticky about exploring what do you feel that you deserve. And it's usually a material thing or like a quality of a relationship. And like, what are you willing to sacrifice to get there? Like for me, being fulfilled in my dance career meant going my own way in regard to my training outside of my teams, which I've been a part of for years. And as painful as a decision that was to make, as soon as I admitted that, it
Right.
changed a lot. But some people stay in situations that are familiar to them because even if it's bad,
Yeah.
there's this big fear of the unknown and what's on the other side. And you're not going to, what did my mentor say? Those moments when you outrun your self-concept, you outperform your self-concept, and you do the thing that you thought you couldn't do, like that could be pretty jarring because your whole world, like your brain is structured on finding ways to not feel insane, right?
Right.
So you need pieces of evidence to confirm your belief that you're not insane. So if your whole life you've been telling yourself that nobody will love you, or you're not capable, or other people have nice things and you don't because of some quality of yourself that you're probably super critical about. When something good happens to you, like being able to let that in, like whether it's love or money or success or connections or new skills or new opportunities, that's going to feel really weird. And you're going to go for those people that, you know, you're going to find that exact situation that makes you incapable of doing the thing you actually want.
Right.
It's going to just, you know, you have a big event, you might get sick. You might pick a fight with a friend or a family member and then use the drama of that to be like, well, I can't do this because of this, right? You know, and it sounds, you know, if you're used to being in that role and nothing happens to you, it sounds like, oh, like it could be invalidating your experience a little bit, but I assure you, like, taking ownership of what's in your control and establishing boundaries with people who need you to be a certain way for them is so powerful and healing. This is all 2020 mainly, like that I've been doing this work, and it is profoundly, there is something magical about like, oh, wow, I set a boundary. They flipped out because that's what they're gonna do. But I maintained my boundary, and I can have a relationship with them that's not contingent on me sacrificing my well-being, you know, whatever it is. If you are, you know, prone to being codependent as growing up as I am, there really is something wonderful about healing from codependency. They say it's the most joyful healing process you could go through because you really get to experience what it's like to be an individual with hobbies and wants and needs and not feel guilty about pursuing those things. There's a grieving process for parents who didn't give you what you needed growing up, if you are the type who has experienced that. But there is a profound level of healing when you're ready to sit with that and work through that. And you feel the first good thing and it makes you want to keep doing it.
Right.
So yeah, lots to explore there. Now let's get into our heart chakra with our meditation. Okay. And let me share this here. And then I will, well, mute ourselves. Got that. Here we go.
Hello, and welcome to the balancing of the heart chakra. Throughout this
Oh.
guided meditation,
Real quick, if you have a notebook or something to write with, grab it for after this one. Yay. On it. Am I on it? Yeah, okay.
we're going to focus on increasing our compassion and unconditional love for ourselves and others. We'll take some deep breaths to start in order to deepen our relaxation. Slowly breathe in over the course of 5 seconds, allowing your belly to expand, followed by your chest, so that your lungs are completely full of air. Take a 5-second pause and hold the breath. Now, take 5 seconds to slowly breathe out, using your diaphragm to push out the remaining air. The length of time for each stage of breathing is not important, as long as it's done in equal measure. Repeat this process several times to deepen your relaxation. If you haven't already, please close your eyes. Welcome to relaxation. You may now allow your breath to return to its natural rhythm. To help deepen and maintain this relaxed state, I'd like you to do a quick body scan and identify any areas in which you may be feeling tension. Start at the top of the head and mentally scan each part of your body, slowly making your way to your toes. As you find areas of tension, take a moment to breathe light into that area. And then breathe out the tension. Allow that area to relax to its highest capacity in this moment. Then move on to the next area. All done? Head to toe? Okay. Now, your entire body should be in a state of relaxation. Next, we bring our attention to the location of the heart chakra at the center of the chest. Acknowledge, then release any distractions from your awareness as you allow your heart to become your sole focus, as though nothing else matters. With each in-breath, imagine breathing bright green light into your heart chakra. This light is so powerful, it causes a circular current of energy throughout the heart. Green light swirls beautifully in a clockwise motion. Good. Now, with each out breath, I want you to imagine releasing any energy which is not in harmony with the heart chakra. Don't worry about consciously identifying the things you're releasing. Merely set the intention to release anything which no longer serves your highest good. Good. Just a few more breaths. Breathing in, green light. Breathing out, that which no longer serves you. We're going to move now from our cleansing breaths to balancing the heart chakra. We'll start by assuming the same mudra as in the root meditation. This is Gyan Mudra, a hand position performed by joining the index finger and thumbs in a circular position, allowing the other fingers to fall free. Do this with both hands. Then place the back of your left wrist on your left knee and bring your right hand in front of your heart, palm facing away from you. Allow this mudra to aid you in cultivating love and compassion, in addition to encouraging energetic sharing. Breathe here for a moment. Return full focus to the location of the heart chakra in the body, as we now concentrate on the traits we will now cultivate through this chakra. For each of the following affirmations, I want you to repeat after me, reciting the words aloud. I am compassionate and friendly toward myself and others.
I am compassionate and friendly toward myself and others.
I give and receive love in healthy, equal measure.
I give and receive love in healthy, equal measure.
I see others just as they are and love them unconditionally.
I see others just as they are and love them unconditionally.
I am grateful for all of life's many blessings.
I am grateful for all of life's many blessings.
Because I love myself unconditionally, I am able to fully love others unconditionally.
Because I love myself unconditionally, I'm able to fully love others unconditionally.
I forgive myself and others with ease and from a place of compassion.
I forgive myself and others with ease and from a place of
I
compassion.
release past traumas and hurts with love.
I release past traumas and hurts with love.
Just as I support and give to others, I also accept support and help when I am in need.
Just as I support and give help to others, I also accept support and help when I am in need.
It is through my vulnerability that I show my strength and connect to others on a deeper, more profound level.
It is through my vulnerability that I show my strength and connect to others on a deeper, more profound level.
I allow my eyes of compassion to transform perceived enemies into friends in need.
I allow eyes of compassion to transform perceived enemies into friends in need.
I am able to give to others without depleting myself because I am full of self-love and compassion.
I'm able to give to others without depleting myself because I am full of self-love
I consider
and
how my
compassion.
actions affect others and find ways to be true to myself without causing pain to those around me.
I consider how my actions affect others and find ways to be true to myself without causing
The
pain
light
to
in
those
me
around me.
sees, recognizes, and honors the light in all those I come in contact with.
The light in me sees, recognizes, and honors the light in all those I come in contact with.
I actively seek to heal myself so that I may more effectively heal those around me.
I actively seek to heal myself so that I may more effectively heal those
I
around
am
me.
worthy of all that is good in this world, and I dedicate myself to my own personal growth so that I may fully receive the good the universe is sending me.
I am worthy of all that is good in this world, and I dedicate myself to my own personal growth so that I may fully receive the good the universe is sending to me.
What are you thinking? Take a moment and reflect. Which of those statements did you most connect with? Which of those statements felt like they were all wrong? Did you feel apathetic toward any of those statements? The goal is to fully connect with each of those statements, as they are innate qualities of our divine selves and can be accessed through our heart energy. At this time, I want you to imagine a tiny windstorm starting in your heart. Green light swirls throughout. The more you focus on it, the larger and more intense the windstorm grows. It now fills your chest, your abdomen, your legs, your arms, your neck, and finally your head. The wind blows away all energy which is not serving your highest good. Negative beliefs are carried away. The wind fills you with compassion of green heart energy in its purest form. Truly connect with your pure heart energy and allow the wind to cleanse your entire being. We will now close this portion of the exercise with a chant. I will chant the sound Yam 3 times, and I invite you to join me by taking a deep breath in and reciting the chant for the entire breath out. As you do, allow yourself to connect with the healing vibration your body creates upon reciting this chant. On the 3rd Yam, your green heart windstorm will have reduced in size and returned to its rightful place in the center of your chest. Take a deep breath in, then out. Now we chant. Observe how you're feeling. Slowly let your awareness expand to your immediate surroundings as you return fully to your body. And when you're ready, open your eyes. How do you feel now compared to before the meditation? Did you feel any shifts? Sit for as long as you'd like to observe what's going on for you. When you're ready, take some time to journal on your experience. You may consider following that with an activity which will connect you even more strongly with your heart energy. Some examples are volunteering for a cause that is important to you, doing some mirror work, or trying to see a situation from someone else's perspective. Do what resonates with you, but don't be afraid to step outside of your comfort zone. Try something new to connect yourself more fully with your sense of compassion. This concludes our guided meditation on balancing the heart chakra. Thank you and namaste.
Okay. Now we'll grab our notebooks for a little bit. I feel so calm. All right, one last minute. I'll put the timer on so I don't trail off, as I'm apt to do. All right. Last thought. Did anything come up for you guys that you feel comfortable sharing?
Some of the last handful of affirmations, and especially combined with the overall like healing, like pure heart energy visualization, reminded me of sort of my overall sort of like social outlook and value set of wanting to like connect with and like just be a healing and calming and welcoming and accepting presence in the lives of all of the people around me, and be able to enjoy and appreciate their own inner light and accept all people for who they were before my years long now chronic cycle of ostracism started, and sort of like an alienation, resentment, and a feeling of being lost started like accruing overall. So those final batch of affirmations, I think made me reconnect a bit with that sort of mindset that I had back when I was younger in high school and whatnot, and brought some of that back into my business a bit, which I appreciated.
You know, how long have you been studying the subjects you've been studying with disinformation and extremism and that stuff of that nature?
Disinformation specifically, I have been doing that since, well, I'm not as much doing it nowadays. Nowadays, I've been trying to focus on doing technical projects for like resume building, but I started doing it in maybe the months right after the 2016 election, starting late December or so.
Mm-hmm. You know, in our Based in Glitterpill book last month and this one, probably going into December because it's a heavy book, on trauma stewardship. One of the symptoms of vicarious trauma is pulling away from people and ostracizing yourself. So maybe you could have more self-compassion by recognizing it's not necessarily something you are going out of your way to do. It's like more or less a natural response to the nature of the work. I think for me, it was like the two biggest things were I don't want to be a burden to others, and I feel guilty over experiencing joy when there's so much suffering. And like getting over those two things and realizing that like the joy is the liberatory element, it's not an aside. To be able to experience joy and connection and live a meaningful life amidst all of the chaos and uncertainty is an act of rebellion. And it's an imperative that people try to do that. I know people don't have the tools, so I'm trying to give whatever I can to help based on things that have worked for me. And eventually I will probably get some type of trauma-informed, certification or specialty or counseling, so I can do that in a more formal position. But I can totally relate to pulling away and ostracizing yourself, or like picking a fight that I don't know if you've done this, but picking a fight that is going to lead to some nonsense, because it's like now they have an excuse to break away from you.
Right.
I've done that. I don't know if anyone else has done that, but it is kind of like that. Here's an easy way out. Like, I don't want to tell you everything I'm going through, so why not just like, why don't you end it for me? Like,
Yeah.
But for me, the leader of the Proud Boys has basically given me permission to troll the group on Halloween, because I told him my first idea for a hat was wearing a MAGA style hat
Oh,
That's my parents are brother and sister. But now, after doing the heart chakra meditation and thinking about just how victimhood and entitlement is like their worldview, I want to wear the hat that says in the MAGA style, "Get over her." And like there's an image of Mortal Kombat guys. It was like Sub-Zero and I think Scorpion, and Sub-Zero has his arm around no, it's either, who's the one that says "Get over here"? Right? What is it? Is it Scorpion?
remember, but like
Reptile? Question mark?
Maybe. But the one who does that has his arm around the shoulder of the other Mortal Kombat character, and it's like, "Get over." And I want to incorporate that because I think that like my parents are brother and sister. That's not to appeal to that audience. That's
Right.
like to make everybody experience comedic relief.
right.
And being able to really just have a talk, I think that's what it's going to go to. The more that I realize, like, yeah, there's a troll there that I could engage in, but if I want to relate to these people on a human level,
Right.
and eventually show people that there's enough complexity in the world that they don't have to be in this mode.
Right.
I don't have to always troll, even though that's the language they're familiar with, and that's the language
Right.
that kind of embedded me with the group further.
Right.
Here's my time now to be the like empathetic, non-stereotypical feminist that many of them desperately need, but will never admit to themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, and it just, no, I think that's a really great idea because it also shifts it from the dismissive with like some classic implications and stuff too, right? And regional of like of relatives and genetics to no, you need to fix yourself. Like it's
Yeah, it's not communist.
yeah,
It's not the liberals that are doing this to you.
yeah, you need to
Like that really is the core. Like something terrible happens. And I said this for my first thing in therapy with someone to deal with the vicarious trauma associated with researching these people.
Right.
Some people, when they go through something traumatic, they put their feelings in a box and they put it on the shelf, and maybe when they're ready, they can dust it off and like open it up.
Right.
Some people set the box on fire and their capacity to feel along with it. And they brace a kind of cruelty to demonstrate how little they care. It's not completely irreversible once you get to that state, because essentially you're lashing out at the world for not giving you what you want, despite not doing the thing to get you there. It's really going to be important when I get more into facilitating off ramps for Proud Boys to show them that I can relate to them and there's a better way. I haven't necessarily been in their exact shoes, but I can relate to rejection. I can relate to breaking hearts. I can relate to having my heart broken. I can relate to, I've been in 2 fights in my life. They weren't much of a fight, I happened to be taking jujitsu at the time, and it was over pretty quick.
That's good.
And I can relate to temporarily hating yourself and externalizing that hatred onto others.
Yeah.
I can understand the impulse, at least, to do that. So there's so much to explore there. And then, when you factor in substance abuse, that's going to make it significantly more difficult. But I do think that there are some Proud Boys there who have taken the red pill without considering its implications and just need someone to be like, man, not all women are like this. And like, what are you like? Like, what are you doing?
Right.
Are you the epitome of like strength and like being like self-assured? Because it seems like you're giving everybody power over you.
Right.
So yeah, there's so much to explore. But I think starting there, from going from trolling to like actual engagement. Yeah. Final thing, if we have time, what's everybody's like on time for the next 5 minutes?
I'm good for the next 5.
Okay. You good?
Yeah, I can probably wait for another 5 more minutes.
Okay, so let's start with you. I'm gonna ask, what 4 things are you grateful for today?
I am grateful for taking the split-second decision to join this and practicing a like deep visualization chakra balancing exercise and not merely just listening in while doing my work as a decision to break my day-to-day work from home routine, because it did lead me to reconnecting with just a small glimmer of my old previous self beneath all of my relational traumas and whatnot. Um, I am grateful that I am alive and healthy, as healthy things go in a time of great crisis. Um, I am grateful that even though I do not have the the job and the experience for defending activists and protecting elections that I had hoped to have by now, I'm still in communities and have connections to people who are doing it, and I have growing avenues to get into such things. And I am grateful for having read this
Ooh,
a year ago, because
boundaries.
even though I read it as a good faith offer to a, at the time, close friend who was basically a chosen sister to me when she was on the verge of like shutting me out. And in fact, she appears to not have heard my offer to read this. And so I spent months reading it. And I don't think she knows that I did. Um, Nevertheless, having spent many years trying to focus all of my efforts on learning uh, skills for saving relationships from dying, which I believe was an important life skill to have, and I think potentially making myself too hyper focused on that and overwhelming others and thus perpetuating my own chronic cycles. This one helped me be a little bit more focused on just healthy balance,
Right.
a live and let live kind of understanding of people doing what they can and should to keep in the good and keep out the bad in a non-judgmental, non-ultimatum, non-controlling way, but just as a blameless and protective way of ensuring that you are able to take care of yourself so that you are better able to take care of others. Because I definitely have felt more more balanced and more stable since reading through this particular book.
That's really good.
That's wonderful. Yeah, it seems like you're going through your own like moment of growth, and I'm so glad you took the last second decision to join this.
Me too.
What
Those are,
are what was that?
I said, those are my 4.
No. And what are yours, Emily?
Okay. I'm grateful that that somehow over the years I've found not just non-toxic relationships, but supportive community. And one example would be this summer, I was just not going to get, there's a call for an article. They're like, you were at this conference, send it in. And I was like, yeah. And then I looked at it and I realized I had to redo all the graphics. And I was like, no, I cannot. And I was just like, yeah, so that opportunity's gone. But the person actually contacted me and they're like, hey, you know, I know you're interested and I know it's been like 2020. So, you know, let me know if you're still interested and we can like work something out. And I'm like, okay, and I was like, oh, that's really sane and nice. I'm grateful about actually working on and learning to set boundaries and say no, including with myself, of not just doing all the things. Um, and I'm grateful that I got some small things done this week because I was feeling really overwhelmed lately, and that I was having trouble getting started and figure out where to start. And I don't know if I picked the right stuff. I picked things by their deadlines this week, and that helped a lot. And they were close to the deadlines, but they, you know, that did help get some things done. And then the last one is, yeah, in therapy we had a day to process last week's processing, and how processing trauma doesn't necessarily is hard, and you don't always. It's not going to get rid of it, and it's not, you know, like, and just what does it mean to do this, and yeah, and that it's worth doing even though it's hard. But yeah, like therapy this week was literally processing the idea of processing, and which was needed, because I was just like,
Yeah.
it's scary. Yeah, that I find it really, really terrifying to actually deal with shit, and as opposed to just say, and for just falling back on like, well, trauma happens, or like, you know, death is inevitable. Like, it's like, you know, like, it's
Right.
in a violent, awful world. It's like, you know, like it's instead of like minimizing and going through that cycle of like, well, I should be over this, or I should be this, or I should be have this, and I should want this. Um, being the whole like, or you could just actually look at your stuff. I think, okay, so that's what's happening.
I am grateful for you guys for trusting me to hold this space and not show up as someone who has it all together, but someone who's also processing and exploring things too. I'm grateful to be consistent in having this container for us. And I'm excited for everyone that is going to join and build this together. I'm grateful that my sister finally resumed her writing community and trusted me to help her with some of the copy and being authentic, because writers, as you know, are very wedded to the idea that you must suffer for your art and that you do not get paid. And if you do, you're a sellout. My sister is none of those things. And I think that this is the first step for her to really, I mean, like, I've always asked her for the good reads, you know, and now that like this extension of that into the community, because she has guided readings, and then she has writing assignments based on those readings, and then she has the workshop where people dive into the reading, share their stuff, and woodshop the way that she did in grad school when she was at Emerson. And then if anybody has something that they want to work on for a piece, there's one person a week who can submit it and have it worked on. I actually, my Georgetown University piece, I put it through the Writing Center, like our workshop. And that's what really got it. Because there was like someone who specialized in like Army communications and like had the perfect feedback for like how to be more strategic. But it's just like another wonderful community for people who want to write and have not had the access to it. But I'm grateful for that. And I am grateful for this moment, this literally this morning when the thing happened where I was confronted with somebody who was emotionally unavailable, and I chose to let it go, not make it about myself or any stories, and try to see how it fits into the larger picture of the path that I'm on. And I'm grateful for the webinar that's happening at about 1 or 1:30 today. I get to be with Dr. Amar and Dr. Barbara Perry. And they are like the leading scholars in the counterterrorism field. And we're going to get to talk about the far right and in relation to the elections. And I got to bring on a journalist who's local, who's based in Reno and covers Northern Nevada, as one of the journalists to speak on the far right. So I'm just like really grateful that there are all these different communities that are starting to come together. I'm building one, and like I'm so happy. I'm grateful for everything that's happening. So thank you guys for being a part of it, and I really look forward to next Friday. Yeah. And with that, I will see you all soon. Right. Take care.